The air in the Dubai penthouse smelled of crude oil and reckless money. I was Sophia Reyes, a forensic investigator with a mission. Expose the oil magnate Sterling Blackwood, a compulsive abuser who thought his wealth made him untouchable. My weapon was simple: my looks. I posed as a socialite, allowed him the illusion of control, and tracked his every move. Blackwood fell for the trap, never realizing that the beautiful woman he hired for a date was a cold operative, and all I wanted was his entire corrupt empire. The air in the private glass-walled observation lounge 30 floors above the Dubai Marina was a blend of chilled European air and the scent of money. Old money, newly laundered money, and the raw, heavy aroma of crude oil. Sophia Reyes, 30 years old, moved through the space with the practiced grace of a predator, draped in a gown that cost more than her annual salary as a forensic investigator. Her operational cover was simple and devastatingly effective. A wealthy, captivating socialite on an extended holiday after a messy family inheritance dispute. Her target was just meters away. Sterling Blackwood, an American oil magnate who ran the entire operation from the UAE, shielded by layers of corporate shells, offshore accounts, and the sheer audacity of his wealth. Blackwood was, as the files stated, a compulsive abuser whose victims were silenced by his money and his network. Sophia's mission was dual-layered: collect undeniable forensic evidence of his predatory behavior and, more critically, expose the sprawling corporate corruption that funded his impunity. Blackwood believed his greatest asset was his power. Sophia knew his greatest vulnerability was his ego. "You look like you belong here, darling," a voice purred behind her. Sophia turned, her expression shifting instantly from contemplative aloofness to effortless, charming attention. It was Marcus, Blackwood's right-hand man, the fixer. He was the first barrier, and she knew she had to bypass him quickly. "And you look like you know exactly where the real party is," Sophia replied, her voice low and husky, hinting at boredom and a desire for genuine excitement. "I'm looking for something challenging." Marcus chuckled, taking the bait. "Mr. Blackwood is the only challenge worth taking in this city." The introduction was swift. Blackwood, massive in his confidence and tailored suit, assessed Sophia not as a threat, but as another expensive commodity on the market. His eyes were cold, but his smile was practiced. "A beautiful woman like you, all alone in Dubai. That's a crime," he stated, his accent thick with Texan oil money. Sophia met his gaze, her professional training holding the line between seductive engagement and cold calculation. "Only if she doesn't find someone worthy of her time, Mr. Blackwood." The dance began. For weeks, Sophia became his shadow. She was invited to the highest stakes meetings, the most secluded parties, and the most heavily guarded residences. Blackwood was intoxicated by her. She was intelligent enough to be interesting, but always deferred to his authority, reinforcing his massive ego. She allowed him the illusion of control, playing the role of the beautiful woman captivated by his power. Every compliment he gave, every gesture of possessiveness he made, was another layer of paint on her convincing facade. But while Blackwood believed he was enjoying a new conquest, Sophia was working. She used every moment alone, every stolen 5 minutes while he showered, every accidental oversight in his presence, to deploy sophisticated miniaturized data sniffers and physical access exploits. Her focus was on the financial nexus: the private server room in his Abu Dhabi villa, the heavily encrypted data streams between his personal laptop and his Swiss bank terminal, and the crucial proprietary global ledger system that handled the complex money laundering transfers. During a late-night session where Blackwood showed off his financial wizardry, Sophia, pretending to be distracted, noticed a fatal flaw. The global ledger system had a redundant, unencrypted local backup protocol that briefly synced with his personal tablet every Friday morning at 3 a.m., designed for quick status checks when traveling. It was an appalling operational security lapse, a monument to the arrogance that Blackwood believed made him untouchable. Sophia knew the time was near. The physical and verbal abuse Blackwood inflicted on others, and the chilling control he slowly attempted to exert over her, was fuel. She had enough preliminary forensic evidence of his financial crimes to begin building the final, undeniable case. She was not leaving until she had the key to the global ledger system. She had signed the contract of the siren. Her body was the bait, and the only price of admission was Blackwood's total destruction. The ultimate betrayal was about to be executed. The Friday of the target operation arrived. Blackwood was preoccupied with the largest deal of his career, a multi-billion-dollar acquisition of a struggling European pipeline, an event that would require a simultaneous, clean transfer of funds from his UAE accounts. The complexity of the transaction demanded his absolute focus, making him blind to the quiet, beautiful woman at his side. Sophia spent the morning with him at his private office overlooking the Persian Gulf, maintaining the facade of a doting, excited partner. Every touch, every word of flattery, was a calculated distraction. Her real focus was the clock. 3 a.m. The unencrypted synchronization window. "Tonight, darling, we celebrate," Blackwood boomed, his ego inflated by the impending deal. "I'm going to buy you the world. What do you want? A yacht? A private island? I just want you, sterling," Sophia purred, a masterclass in deception. But her mind was miles away, confirming the successful deployment of the final piece of hardware, a custom-engineered USB device, no larger than a key, containing a sniffer program designed to target only the global ledger system backup file during the sync window. She needed a moment of total, physical access to Blackwood's private tablet. That evening, the seduction was deliberate, meticulously staged in Blackwood's penthouse suite. As they moved into the master bedroom, Sophia executed the key operational step. Feigning a desire for a cocktail Blackwood had to fetch, she gained the necessary 90 seconds. His tablet, which he never left unlocked, was on the nightstand. Sophia's fingers flew over the tablet's lock screen. Years of forensic training paid off instantly. Password: Lilith. The name of the first woman he had abused and silenced, a chilling testament to his psychological pathology. The tablet unlocked. She inserted the custom USB key into the charging port, initiating the silent, targeted data extraction program. The tiny, silent device worked in under 40 seconds, pulling the critical, unencrypted ledger data. She removed the key and placed the tablet back exactly where it was. Blackwood returned, oblivious. The physical price Sophia paid for this access, the forced proximity, the endured condescension, was immense, but her focus was absolute. She was a weapon, and the trigger was about to be pulled. As dawn broke, Blackwood left for the final negotiation meeting. Sophia's mission was complete. She had the full global ledger system data, containing irrefutable evidence of decades of corporate bribery, shell company fraud, and money laundering, the foundation of his power. And within the personal files, she had the terrifying, damning record of his victims, including the contact information for those he believed he had erased. Sophia did not return to the hotel. She flew commercially to a safe house in a third country, where she held a prearranged video conference with the U.S. Federal Attorney's Office and key Interpol agents. "I have the ledger," she stated, her voice calm, professional, and entirely devoid of the character she had played for weeks. "The full transfer records for the pipeline acquisition are proof of the final stage of money laundering. The transfer is scheduled for 10 a.m. Dubai time. If you move now, you freeze the assets and catch him in the act." The agents, who had initially been skeptical of the beautiful woman promising the ruin of a titan, were silenced by the sheer scale and clarity of the forensic evidence. At 9:45 a.m., as Blackwood sat at the negotiation table ready to finalize the deal that would make him untouchable, the U.S. federal government, in collaboration with international financial regulators, moved. The multi-billion-dollar transfer was halted. Blackwood's assets were frozen globally. The Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) announced an immediate investigation into widespread fraud, using the data Sophia had provided. News of the freezing order hit the negotiation room like a shockwave. Blackwood, humiliated and furious, was arrested by local authorities on an international warrant before he could even leave the building. The news broke internationally. The oil magnate's empire had collapsed, not by a rival, but by a legal financial maneuver executed with forensic precision. Weeks later, Sophia met with a key federal agent, her demeanor now relaxed, wearing simple, functional clothes, the true professional. The agent looked at her with awe. You took down a sovereign nation's worth of corruption, Ms. Reyes. You were flawless. He fell for the oldest trap agent, Sophia replied, a ghost of a smile touching her lips. He thought the beautiful girl wanted to date. He never realized she was an investigator, and all she wanted was his entire life. Sophia had not sought revenge through violence or public scandal, but through the pure, undeniable power of the law and forensic truth. Justice was served, and the price of the siren's contract was the complete, absolute destruction of Sterling Blackwood's empire. The victims were finally free. Sophia's revenge was surgical. She used the magnate's ego and his own encrypted data against him, collapsing his multi-billion-dollar empire with the press of a button. Blackwood lost his freedom, his fortune, and his power, a perfect symmetrical justice for his systemic betrayal and abuse. Have you ever used a hidden identity to seek justice? Tell us your thoughts on Sophia's final ruthless move in the comments below. Hit the like button and subscribe to Just an Unusual Story for more shocking narratives.